How important is communication and information policy of this current government and how it is different from the previous governments?
The information and communication policy of any government is the core of its narrative. And it really helps in narrative building, and it really helps in getting across the point of view of the government, of the state, and also in projecting the soft image of the country and creating a positivity regarding developments, regarding reforms in the country. We changed our information and communication policy, and we came up with Pakistan's first digital communication department. We had to change the rules of business, and now we have a fully functional digital communication department, which is Pakistan's first official digital department, which now has a monitoring system, a podcast studio, content creation, dissemination, and a whole team of influencers and digital media experts who are available now in-house.
How important is your communication policy with response to countering the Indian propaganda and fake news in the wake of Mark-i-Haq?
During the conflict with India and during Mark-i-Haq, there was a lot of synergy between government departments and institutions. We saw that the Prime Minister offered an investigation into Pahalgam incident, a fair, impartial investigation. We saw diplomatic efforts being made. So the Foreign Office, Ministry of Information, the Prime Minister's Office and ISPR, we were all on one page and sharing information very, very timely. So we were very quick and efficient in providing information to Pakistani news channels and international media outlets about the ongoing situation. Whereas India did not have a proper information ministry. And their military wing of the public relationing was very, very weak in giving out information, and mostly false and ridiculous information was being provided. And I must appreciate the Pakistani media. Whatever timely and accurate information was provided through our good offices, through Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, through ISPR, it was aired very, very timely in a very responsible manner, and the world believed our narrative because our narrative was based on the truth. And on the floor of the House, during this conflict, I stood up and I said that we must unite today against a common enemy, and we must forget our differences. So I think we played our role in uniting the nation against India in that conflict, whereas India was divided because of the political polarization.
The wake of Sydney shooting, we have seen there was also huge fake news information flow from Indian side.
We have a joint program for fact-checking, and I know for a fact that many news outlets are now partnering with many universities and their mass communication departments to counter this. But I think a larger strategy would be required at the global level.
Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, communication and information policy in every government is considered most important because under same policy, government narrative, government viewpoint is projected, and at the same time, under same policy, fake news and propaganda is also countered. In today's conversation, we will examine and we will also analyze that what is the communication and information policy of this current government and its different domains and how it is working and related issues. We are fortunate to have with us Pakistan's Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Mr. Attaullah Tarar. Very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English. So communication and information strategy in every government is extremely important. You might have seen policies in the previous government. How important is communication and information policy of this current government and how it is different from the previous governments?
Thank you very much. I think the information and communication policy of any government is the core of its narrative. And it really helps in narrative building, and it really helps in getting across the point of view of the government, of the state, and also in projecting the soft image of the country and creating a positivity regarding developments, regarding reforms in the country. So when I took over as information minister, my first and foremost policy was to bring a digital footprint into our ministry and into our communication strategy. So
it's a quite new thing. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I took over, we changed our information and communication policy, and we came up with Pakistan's first digital communication department. We had to change the rules of business. We did that. We created new positions, and now we have a fully functional digital communication department, which is Pakistan's first official digital department, which now has a monitoring system, a podcast studio, content creation, dissemination, and a whole team of influencers and digital media experts who are available now in-house. And I think it was much needed. And when the war with India happened, I think this setup was most useful.
And it's played a vital role.
Oh, absolutely, because it was a nerve center. It had all the connecting departments there under one roof and connected to each other. So I think it really, really helped in building Pakistan's narrative and also helped in disseminating timely information to international media outlets.
My connected question, as you mentioned about conflict with India, in May, Pakistan gave a befitting response. But if you see right from the day Pahalgam incident occurred, 22nd of April, and after this Markai-Haq, we are continuously facing propaganda from India, information warfare from India. And to some extent, rather to a very larger extent, Pakistan is responding. How important is your communication policy with response to countering the Indian propaganda and fake news in the wake of Markai-Haq?
I think Pakistan adopted a very cohesive policy during the conflict with India and during Markai-Haq. There was a lot of synergy between government departments and institutions. We saw that the Prime Minister offered an investigation into Pahalgam incident, a fair, impartial investigation. We saw diplomatic efforts being made. So the Foreign Office, Ministry of Information, the Prime Minister's Office, and ISPR, we were all on one page and sharing information very, very timely. So we were very quick and efficient in providing information to Pakistani news channels and international media outlets about the ongoing situation. Whereas India did not have a proper information ministry. And their military wing of the public relationing was very, very weak in giving out information, and mostly false and ridiculous information was being provided. For example, the port of Lahore being destroyed. Now everyone knows that Lahore is a landlocked city. Lahore does not have a port. And, we played a very smart strategy.
Their information was bouncing back. Exactly.
It was bouncing back, and our information was resonating with the people at home and abroad. And I must appreciate the Pakistani media. Whatever timely and accurate information was provided through our good offices, through Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, through ISPR, it was aired very, very timely in a very responsible manner. And the world believed our narrative because our narrative was based on the truth. And on the floor of the House, during this conflict, I stood up and I said that we must unite today against a common enemy, and we must forget our differences. So I think we played our role in uniting the nation against India in that conflict, whereas India was divided because of the political polarization. So I think that also played a role. And having said that, I also think that the international media outlets picked up our authentic information. And during that time, I had the privilege that we aired some of our content on Indian YouTube channels. So when India was banning our
Indian YouTube channels,
absolutely,
Pakistani content.
Yeah. So when India was banning our YouTube channels, our anchors, our platforms,
exactly.
So at that time, one of the youngsters in my team came up to me and he said, we can do something. I said, what? He said, maybe we can air our content as ads in India. So I said, go ahead. So we played our military songs with our armed forces portrayed in those songs. And they were aired in India. And when those videos on YouTube went beyond 2 million views and were going towards 5 million, 6 million views, and going beyond that, so there was a havoc in India, and people were questioning, why are we seeing Pakistani content on our YouTube? So I think technically we played very smart, and in the narrative domain, we played our part. Alhamdulillah, it was very positive, and the result was very, very encouraging.
The wake of Sydney shooting, we have seen there was also huge fake news information flow from Indian side, and Pakistan countered it very properly. So fake news challenge.
So I think, first of all, we've come up with fake news busters, and we've made a few social media accounts officially to counter fake news, especially coming from our region, coming from India, coming from Afghanistan. So we play our role in labeling that news as fake and then disseminating it on the social media, taking it to the electronic media, and making sure that the wire services around the world,
Yes.
like Reuters and Associated Press, they get this information very timely. And we speak to their correspondents, and we have a whole cell, which is the fact checker cell, which instantly picks up fake news, posts it and labels it as fake, puts out the correct news, and then disseminates it through other sections to the news outlets within Pakistan and abroad. And I've also teamed up with a few universities. We have a good program going on with NUST as far as Pakistan TV is concerned. And we have a joint program for fact checking. And I know for a fact that many news outlets are now partnering with many universities and their mass communication departments to counter this. But I think a larger strategy would be required at the global level, where countries who have alliances or who are cordial towards each other can actually come up with certain SOPs in which international standards can be set and they can be adhered to. And social media platforms have a role to play. For example, TikTok platform has introduced
It's very
this.
effective.
Yes, they've come up with a new feature. Any video created through artificial intelligence is labeled as a content created by AI. So if social media platforms can also play a role in filtering fake news and misinformation, so we are also working on that along with the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of IT, because it's a domain which has a lot of cross-cutting sectors. So I think we are working on that, and hopefully as we've set out a target, we'll achieve it, inshallah.
So Islamophobia and propaganda has very close connection to each other. So as you mentioned nicely globally that there should be a global joint communication strategy. I'm talking from the context of Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Because it is ultimately the Muslim world which is facing this Islamophobia. An initiative, because previously some proposals were under consideration by Turkey, by Indonesia, by Malaysia, by Saudi Arabia, a number of countries, that there should be a global channel of Muslim world that could present Muslims' viewpoint and other things. So globally, any such strategy from the platform of OIC?
I think Islamophobia is a real issue, and it is spread across the world. The Pakistani government and Pakistani leadership has played a role in raising one's voice against this very, very dangerous threat.
And Pakistani resolution was adopted by UN.
The Pakistani resolution was also adopted, and Pakistan, being a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, often talks about this issue at that level. And Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also spoke about it during his United Nations General Assembly speech this year and last year.
True.
So it's always the focus of our attention. So I think with regard to the OIC, this issue was discussed by the Deputy Prime Minister several times. So I think this will be taken forward, and we need a common platform and a common policy with other Islamic countries where we can counter this in a very, very effective manner.
Another thing related to this is Islamophobia in India is on the rise. Recently, we have seen a very unfortunate incident. Bihar's chief minister, by force removing the veil of a Muslim woman or a Muslim young medical graduate. Pakistan's Foreign Office officially condemned it. How you see this particular incident, and connected to this, another Indian minister spotted the action of Bihar chief minister. Your thoughts?
I think India is now suffering from moral bankruptcy, extreme polarization, extremism, violent extremism. When a political leader, and as senior as a chief minister,
True.
Nitish Kumar did a very, very horrendous act, highly condemnable. And I think there is no justification whatsoever. It's a very, very nasty act that he resorted to. So I think the two nation theory is being strengthened with every passing day, that a separate homeland for the Muslims of the subcontinent, as envisioned by Allama Muhammad Iqbal and as implemented by Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah, that I think that really gives us a lot of power, a lot of strength from within. So I think India is persecuting minorities. They are involved in assassination of 6 like the case of Hardeep Singh Najjar in Canada, other Sikhs in US, in Europe, and they are going after the minorities within their territorial boundaries and outside. So I think this is their mindset. This is the Hindutva ideology through which they are trying to ridicule and trying to suppress other minorities. But I think after losing the war, this is something that is a coward's act. Muslims of the subcontinent, known as Pakistanis, beat you hands down in conventional warfare, shot down 7 planes,
But they are not
forced
accepting.
you to raise the white flag and abandon your post and flee quickly. Now you are persecuting minorities and removing a veil from a woman's face. I think they should have some shame.
Another important thing is over last many years, we are seeing that there are some YouTubers, vloggers abroad who are engaged in anti-state propaganda. We have seen recently Pakistani Interior Minister visiting United Kingdom to take certain legal action. But since you are the chief spokesperson of the government and information minister, what are your thoughts? What legal action the government is considering against such vloggers who are engaged continuously against state institutions?
I think, first of all, one of the YouTubers living in the United Kingdom, he committed a very, very heinous act when he interviewed on X platform and basically he did a space on X with Ehsanullah Ehsan, a known terrorist. Now, how can a country like United Kingdom tolerate this? That a person living in their city under their protection,
under their watch,
is actually interviewing on social media a terrorist who's a known terrorist
and wanted,
and he's wanted. So I think, and that particular person who conducted that interview has just lost a case against Brigadier Rashid Nasir, and he was not only asked to pay damages, he was asked to apologize. He posted an apology on all his social media platforms. He not only apologized, he paid damages. He was asked to pay the cost of the case. So I think it's a very, very embarrassing situation for him because his narrative has totally failed. And this is a position where he should be extremely ashamed of himself. So I think there's credible evidence for handing over these YouTubers from the United Kingdom, and the Interior Minister presented very, very credible documents to the High Commissioner here in Islamabad and also to the authorities in the United Kingdom. So I think there's a good likelihood that there will be some positive progress in this case.
So Pakistani state media is oldest one, very senior, very mature, but it is facing crisis. So since you are a revolutionary information minister, so any plan, initiative to revamp entire state media, keeping it new and aligning that media with the modern challenging communication and media trends, references to Pakistan Television, BBC, and Associated Press of Pakistan?
You see, as soon as I became information minister, alhamdulillah, I started to revamp Pakistan Television by bringing in anchors from the private sector. All those people who were sitting there through their influence, through nepotism, they were shown the door. Now I can claim, by the grace of God, that all the anchors that are there on Pakistan Television are there on merit. And before that, they were occupying television screens in the private sector and at a good place. Having said that, we've come up with the new English channel, which is the Pakistan TV. The Pakistan TV platform, the digital platform and the satellite platform are doing extremely well. Mr. Adil Shahzeb is running the satellite television. We brought in a young guy from Independent. His name is Saqib. He's running the digital platform and doing extremely well. Our news is now picked up by Washington Post, by New York Times, by Reuters. So the world is quoting news coming in from Pakistan TV, which is a good English strategic communication tool. So besides that, revamping of Pakistan Television in order to create an effective narrative during the war, other times, I think we have created a good team, good atmosphere, and we are also working towards the better image of Pakistan Television through reforms, through introduction of technology. I just inaugurated a multi-purpose hall the other day, which is a very modern hall with multimedia. It can become a lecture hall, it can become an auditorium, just 2 days ago. And before that, the major reforms that have taken place with regard to Pakistan Television which is the Pakistan TV in English, as I mentioned. We have also come in with the human resource development program. We are going to digitize our human resource records, which have never been digitized. So
Pakistan television.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So I think we are on the right track. And you will see, inshallah ta'ala, in a very short period of time, a revamped and reformed PTV. But the human resource is not sustainable. A channel with 10 to 15,000 employees can never survive in the long run, because you see private channels have employees up to 300, 400.
Exactly.
So we will have to offer
Review.
at some point in time a golden handshake to majority of the employees, so that we can make this channel sustainable. This is the modern world where a very lean structure is required to run Pakistan television. And whenever I embark upon reforms, I see a lot of criticism. There are mafias sitting within Pakistan television who have a lot of political backing, and they've been there for decades. And they sit and claim that we've seen many ministers come and go. What can this minister do? And I am a very God-fearing man, and by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I say this, that I'm a middle-class politician. Either they will remain or I will remain.
This is a clear challenge.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because these people are in the habit of giving out false news in order to protect their vested interest.
Exactly.
Whoever is trying to make a change, they go against him. So I made a few changes, and I know how to tackle these
Soon
people.
they will be sorted results.
They will be sorted out. And Pakistan television, you see, for the first time, I've revamped the sports department entirely. There were people sitting there.
It was in the loss previously.
It was in loss. People were involved in malpractices. Now, the most viewed content in the history of Pakistan has been the Pakistan versus India Asia Cup second match, which was shown exclusively by PTV Sports. So we are revamping every department. We have good human resource. The head of the sports department, Madam Alia Rashid, is a journalist, sports journalist since 35 years. She was there in PCB, she was there in Geo Super, she's been working for different organizations. So we brought in good human resource who has the experience, has the capacity, has the integrity to deal with these issues.
Last, I will like to seek your valuable comments. Before Mark-e-Haq, Pakistan was viewed globally in a different way. Pakistan's story used to be neglected, used to be ignored. After Mark-e-Haq being Federal Information Minister of Pakistan, how Pakistan's narrative is heard globally? You have been visiting number of countries, United States with the PM, European countries, Central Asia, Far East, everywhere. So after Mark-e-Haq, globally, how Pakistan's narrative and stories heard by global leaders?
I think Pakistan is well respected. Pakistan is taken seriously, and Pakistan is extremely relevant. And the diaspora, the overseas Pakistanis, whom we respect very, very highly, I think their confidence has increased manifold, because they see our Prime Minister standing among the world leaders and President Trump asking him to speak and giving him a lot of respect. We see our Prime Minister going to Saudi Arabia, and we see fighter planes escorting the Prime Minister's plane. So I think...
Which never happened earlier.
Absolutely. So I think the respect that we have earned, and credit also goes to Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Defence Forces, who's really played his role in elevating Pakistan's respect. So I think it's a good combination, the Prime Minister and the Field Marshal, and they've been given a lot of respect the world over. And whether it's the East, whether it's the West, Pakistan is looked upon as a respected country, as a serious country. And in the past, when we were facing isolation, I think that was very unfortunate that one government discredited Pakistan for its own political interests. And the East was not happy, the West was not happy. And after isolating Pakistan, we saw that they did not have a foreign policy, they did not have a domestic policy, they had no economic policy. Now the world takes us seriously. They know this country has won a war. They know this country's economy is on the path of revival. They know this country has a lot of potential for growth. So there's a world of a difference when we go abroad.
Thank you so much indeed,
Pleasure is all
Pakistan's Federal Minister for Information and Broadcasting, who is also the chief spokesperson of the current government, for sharing your thoughts on Pakistan's information and communication policy and how it works. Dear viewers, we hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.